If you thought the Los Angeles Chargers were all about Justin Herbert's rocket arm this season, think again. The real revolution is happening on the ground, and it's turning heads across the NFL. This team isn't just building a run game. They're unleashing a ground attack that could redefine their identity in 2025. But before we dive into the latest bold predictions and game-changing developments for the Chargers' rushing game, quick timeout. Before we get into today's news, take a second to subscribe, smash that like button, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a beat when it comes to Chargers updates. Your support keeps this channel rolling, and we've got some incredible content lined up this season. Now, let's get into it. Over the 4th of July weekend, rumors started swirling, wild ones. Talk of a possible injury to Najee Harris. At first, it sounded like complete fiction, but then came confirmation. Harris did sustain a superficial eye injury in a fireworks accident. While he's expected to be ready for the season, the fact that such a freak injury even happened is a stark reminder of how quickly momentum can shift. For the Chargers, though, it's full steam ahead, and the spotlight is firmly on the run game. Now let's talk bold predictions. This isn't the same Chargers rushing unit from last season. That version? Inconsistent. But in 2025, they've got the right personnel, the right vision, and a head coach who's putting his stamp on a run-first identity. We're talking more carries, smarter play calling, dominating the trenches, and maybe, just maybe, a breakout season from a Chargers running back that no one saw coming. Yes, Herbert's still the face of the franchise. Yes, the defense with Derwin James and Khalil Mack is still lethal. But add in a bruising, clock-controlling run game, the Chargers instantly become one of the most balanced and dangerous teams in the league. Let's kick things off with a bold take that might just redefine expectations for rookie running backs in 2025. Omari Hampton is about to explode, and I'm calling it now. 1,400 total yards this season. That's not a typo. 1,400. And honestly, it might even be conservative. When the Chargers picked up Hampton in the draft, it felt like fate. He wasn't just a good fit. He was the fit. A punishing runner with balance, burst, and field vision that pops off the tape. This isn't just about talent. It's about timing, situation, and coaching. Jim Harbaugh has one mission in LA: run the football with authority. And he now has the perfect weapon to do it. Think about it. Behind a newly fortified offensive line, and in a scheme that actually prioritizes the run game, Hampton walks into a dream scenario. He's not here to sit behind veterans. He's here to lead a ground game revolution. If he stays healthy and gets the kind of volume this offense seems poised to give him, it's not wild to expect something like 1,100 rushing yards, 300 plus receiving yards, multiple games where he just takes over. That's not hype. That's trajectory. This is the same kind of rookie impact we saw from guys like Bijan Robinson and Jonathan Taylor in their breakout first seasons. It's bold, sure, but the blueprint is right in front of us. What's even more exciting? Hampton's playing style is built for the AFC West. He's a rhythm back. The more touches he gets, the harder he is to stop. That's exactly what you want in a division with shootouts, fast-paced offenses, and fourth-quarter wars. Forget what fantasy analysts or draft grades said months ago. The real story is unfolding now, in Chargers camp, where a rookie running back is quietly preparing to make a massive statement. Omari Hampton isn't here to fit in. He's here to take over. Let's stay on the ground and dive deeper into what might be one of the most intriguing backfield duos in the entire NFL this season, Omari Hampton and Najee Harris. We already talked about Hampton being a 1,400-yard breakout waiting to happen. But how does that affect Najee Harris, the proven veteran with a resume of production and power? Here's the bold prediction. Even in a shared backfield, Najee Harris clears 1,000 total yards. Now, let's break it down. The days of Najee getting 20-plus carries per game are likely behind him, especially with Hampton commanding such a massive role. But don't get it twisted. Harris still has plenty left in the tank, and his versatility is what keeps him essential in this offense. This isn't just about running the ball, it's about being a threat on every down. Remember, Harris came into the league as a back who could do everything. Back in Pittsburgh, he caught nearly 75 passes in his rookie season and racked up nearly 500 receiving yards. That part of his game has never disappeared. It's just been underutilized. Enter Justin Herbert. We've seen what Herbert can do with a reliable receiving back. Austin Eckler made a living catching passes out of the backfield. And now Najee gets a shot to revive that dynamic, this time with an even more physical presence. If Hampton takes the lion's share of the rushing work, expect Harris to be the perfect complement. 700 to 800 rushing yards, 250 to 300 receiving yards, steady usage in goal line, and third down situations. That's how you get over the 1,000-yard mark in today's NFL, not by dominating carries, but by maximizing touches in a two-back system. And here's what's truly exciting. This isn't a battle for the top spot. It's a collaboration. Hampton brings explosion and youth. Harris brings experience and grit. Together, they form one of the most balanced and dangerous backfields in the league. In Jim Harbaugh's vision, this isn't just about having one bell cow. It's about wearing down defenses with waves of talent. The Thunder and Lightning combo? That's real in Los Angeles this season. Bottom line, Najee Harris may not be the featured back anymore, but his impact? Still massive. Let's take a step back and look at what's really forming in this Chargers backfield. Because it's not just exciting, it's explosive. Imagine this. 1,400 total yards from Omari Hampton. Another 1,000 from Najee Harris. That's 2,400 plus yards between just two players. If that projection becomes reality, the Chargers' offense won't just be productive, it'll be relentless. But here's the real twist. As the season unfolds, don't be surprised when Omari Hampton becomes the undisputed RB1. Yes, Najee Harris was brought in early, a dependable vet, a punishing runner, and someone who fits the Chargers' physical identity. But Hampton? He's not just a piece of the puzzle. He might be the future of the Chargers' ground attack. This entire scenario mirrors a familiar NFL story. Think back to the Ravens with Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins. Edwards was the hammer, the starter, the veteran presence. But once Dobbins hit the field, his explosiveness, agility, and versatility were undeniable. He simply did more, and that naturally took the reins. That's exactly where Omari Hampton is headed. Hampton's not just fast, he's fluid. He's not just elusive, he's violent in space. And the Chargers coaching staff is going to notice it quickly. In fact, don't be surprised if Hampton starts to take over RB1 duties within the first few weeks of the season. That's how fast his talent might force a shift. Najee Harris will still have a major role, especially in short yardage and early down situations. He'll be the bruiser who wears down defenses. But when the Chargers need a spark, when they need a game changer, it's going to be Hampton whose number gets called. This two-headed monster is the foundation of what could be one of the most balanced, clock-controlling offenses in the NFL. Jim Harbaugh has always built physical, ground-and-pound teams. And this backfield is the perfect blend of power and playmaking. So while the depth chart might still say Harris RB1 at the start of Week 1, keep your eyes on the field. Because Hampton? He's coming for that top spot. And the league better be ready. Let's talk about something deeper than just stats and rosters. Something that's haunted Chargers fans for years. The inability to close out games. We've seen it too often. The heartbreak finishes. The blown leads. The final 2 minutes where everything unravels. But this season, there's a shift happening, and it starts with the ground game. The combination of Omari Hampton and Najee Harris is more than just two capable backs. It's the antidote to a long-standing issue. With Hampton's home run speed and Harris's downhill physicality, the Chargers finally have the tools to control the fourth quarter, not just survive it. And yes, expect Harris to handle plenty of red zone work, especially near the goal line. But Hampton? He's the one who can break open a game from midfield. This duo is the Thunder and Lightning combo Los Angeles hasn't had in years, and it couldn't come at a better time. What makes this even more important is Jim Harbaugh's blueprint. This is a coach who builds from the trenches. He doesn't just want to score, he wants to dominate time of possession, grind down opponents, and end games on his terms. With a punishing run game, those late-game collapses could finally become a thing of the past. Think back to Jacksonville in the playoffs. Or last year's collapse against Houston. Imagine those scenarios again, but this time, with a backfield that can chew clock move chains, and put games away before the final minute. That's not just optimism. That's a philosophical shift in the way this team operates. The Chargers aren't trying to outshoot everyone anymore. They're trying to own the rhythm of a game. And if this works, this isn't just a stat boost. This could be the season that ends the Chargering curse. Now, while we're on this transformation, there's one more piece that deserves recognition, and that's the offensive line. Joe Alt, in particular, showed exactly why he was such a high draft pick. As a rookie, he didn't just hold his own. He ranked in the top tier among all right tackles. Clean technique, power at the point of attack, and poise beyond his years. In short, he was exactly what Harbaugh wants anchoring the edge. The trenches are becoming a strength again in Los Angeles, and for a team that's always had skill position talent, that's exactly what's been missing. So if you're looking for the turning point, the thing that signals a new era for the Bolts, this is it. A dominant run game, a maturing offensive line, and a head coach who knows how to finish. If the run game is the engine of this new Chargers offense, then the offensive line is the steel frame carrying it. And at the front of that machine stands Joe Alt. Year one, he didn't just prove he could hang in the NFL, he proved he might already be on track to become one of its best. Alt handled edge rushers like a seasoned veteran, playing with balance, strength, and technique that belied his rookie status. But now, heading into year two, something different is brewing. Joe Alt is starting to look unstoppable. Coaches have raved about his development. Every report out of camp has the same tone. He's leaner, quicker, stronger, and more confident. And for a right tackle who is already grading out in the league's upper tier, that's a terrifying thought for defenders. Alt doesn't just protect Justin Herbert, he empowers him. He gives this offense the time and rhythm it needs to unfold. And more importantly, he gives runners like Omari Hampton and Najee Harris a clean edge to exploit. But Alt isn't doing it alone. On the other side of the line, Rashawn Slater continues to be an absolute technician at left tackle. He's not just solid, he's special. His lateral quickness, low pad level, and relentless motor make him a nightmare for even the best pass rushers. And when he engages in run blocking, he finishes with authority. Together, Slater and Alt aren't just a strength, they're becoming the best tackle duo in football. That's not an exaggeration. When you combine their film, their grades, their consistency, and the way they adapt to pressure, no other pair in the NFL offers this balance of finesse and brute force. Imagine a run play, and the offense can swing left or right with complete confidence. That's what this duo allows. And in a system that's starting to lean on physicality, time of possession, and clock control, that's a luxury most teams dream of. But here's the real kicker. This line might not even be done growing. Mekhi Becton, a massive presence with a contagious energy, might just be the final puzzle piece. He brings size, power, and a surprisingly agile frame to the interior. If he stays healthy and locks in at guard, this Chargers line could evolve into one of the most physically dominant units in the entire league. We've always talked about skill players when it comes to the Chargers, but this season, the story might just start in the trenches. And this line is ready to bulldoze a new identity into the AFC. Every great offensive line has that one player who elevates everyone around him. And for the Chargers this year, that player might be Mekhi Becton. Let's be honest, in the past, we've seen this unit struggle. There were seasons where protection broke down constantly, the run game had no rhythm, and the middle of the line was simply overwhelmed. But now, Becton's arrival could be the spark that transforms this line from solid to special. He's not the center, but he brings something just as vital: presence, size, leadership, attitude. Becton isn't just a blocker, he's a tone setter. His physicality alone demands attention, but what really makes him dangerous is how much smarter and more disciplined his game has become. And here's where it gets interesting. Whoever wins the starting center job is going to feel the Becton effect. Whether it's Bradley Bozeman or Zion Johnson, playing next to a dominant guard like Becton will bring stability inside. Last year's inconsistency at center, that could fade fast with better help on both sides, especially with Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater forming a bookend of excellence. This offensive line, once a liability, now looks like it might quietly become one of the most underrated strengths in the AFC. But don't overlook what's brewing in the depth chart either. There's a quiet battle unfolding behind the stars, and it might just turn into one of the most important stories of the preseason. The name to watch: Rocket Sanders. An undrafted back with the build of a power runner and the burst of a home run threat, Sanders is carving out a real case to be RB4. And in an offense that's clearly shifting toward a run-heavy identity under Jim Harbaugh, that fourth running back spot isn't just filler, it could be essential. The competition is fierce. Hassan Haskins brings toughness and is a known asset on special teams, which can't be discounted. But Sanders, he fits the Chargers' current mold. He runs hard, he runs smart, and he complements both Omari Hampton and Najee Harris stylistically. Even Kamani Vidal could sneak into this conversation with his agility and instincts. But the Chargers aren't just looking for speed or stats. They're looking for someone who fits the culture being built here. Someone who runs angry, runs smart, and pushes the pile forward. And Rocket Sanders might just be that guy. Circle the names. Watch the reps. Because in a season where depth could determine control of the clock, and ultimately the outcome of games, RB4 might be a bigger deal than anyone expects. Let's call this what it is: the birth of a ground and pound identity for the Los Angeles Chargers. Under Jim Harbaugh's leadership, there's no longer any mystery about the direction of this offense. The days of leaning entirely on Justin Herbert's arm are giving way to a more physical, clock-controlling, body blow approach, and the numbers might soon prove it. Here's the bold vision. The Chargers surpassed 2,250 rushing yards in 2025. Not a pipe dream, not a gimmick stat, a real, achievable milestone, and one that would rank among the best seasons on the ground this franchise has seen since the LaDainian Tomlinson era. Why the optimism? Start with the personnel. Najee Harris and Omari Hampton are tanks and cleats. Both durable, both punishing, and both capable of wearing down defenses by the fourth quarter. Najee hasn't missed a single NFL game in his career. That's durability you can trust. Hampton? Nearly flawless health at the college level, and he runs like every snap is his last. Together, they form a thunder and thunder combo with no off switch. Add to that a vastly improved offensive line featuring Joe Alt, Rashawn Slater, Mekhi Becton, and a more stabilized interior. That's not just protection for Herbert. It's a bulldozer for the run game. This isn't just about highlight runs. It's about stacking first downs, chewing clock, and keeping the ball out of opponents' hands. It's about rhythm, control, balance. And don't forget the extras. Herbert's legs will contribute more than people expect. And even jet sweeps and reverses from the WR core will push that total higher. Let's talk projections. In 2023, the Chargers ran for 1,642 yards. That climbed to 1,882 last season. This year, with better health, better blocking, and more commitment, 2,250 yards is well within reach. That number puts the Bolts in the top 10 rushing teams in the NFL. And if things really click, if the vision becomes reality, 2,500 yards isn't out of the question, which would make them a top 5 rushing offense. That's rare air. That's Ravens, Eagles, Lions territory. But here's the true impact. A dominant rushing attack won't just transform the offense. It gives the defense room to breathe. Fewer snaps. Better field position. More control. When the Chargers can run the ball, own the tempo, and keep Herbert upright, they're not just dangerous, they're deadly. If you're looking for the turning point of the Jim Harbaugh era, this rushing resurgence might be it.